Hey everyone and welcome. We are Next Level Business Advisors and this is Business Stories of Success. If you want to break through and achieve your own business success by learning from other successful business owners, you're in the right channel. For more of our content, make sure you click subscribe and don't forget the bell icon so you're the first to be notified when new videos are added. Enjoy today's video.
Hello, hello, hello. You're with Mark Adams at Next Level Business Advisors. And we have a special treat for you today, coming live from beautiful Bakersfield, California. It is beautiful, right?
Some days more beautiful than others. And I'm going to choose today being beautiful.
All right. So today is a beautiful day with Mr. Tim McNeely. He is the owner of the DentalPreneur Advisor. Is that get that right? DentalPreneur Advisory Firm. It's an interesting concept that I really want to dig into a little bit. It's about dental advisory and family office services. So that's kind of amazing. And Tim is an accomplished man. How do I know? Let me see if you can get this. If you're watching the podcast instead of listening to the podcast, not one, but two publications. And it's all about helping people to become wealthy. You see that? Becoming seriously wealthy. So I'm excited to talk to this business owner. Welcome, Tim. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Excited to be here with you, Mark.
Glad to have you. So I always like to get started right into it. I chat too much sometimes. Tell us yourself. Who are you and a little bit about your business?
Well, yeah, no, thank you for asking. My name's Tim McNeely, CEO and founder of DentalPreneur Advisors, and I help driven entrepreneurial dentists make smart choices with their money so they can maximize their net worth outside of their business.
Okay, very nice and succinct. And let me ask you this question. What role do you play in your business?
Well, as an entrepreneur, and you know this, and anyone listening, right, you tend to wear a lot of hats. And so, I do a whole lot of things, and all of us are work in progress. But, the hat I keep trying to wear more and more of is that of really the advisor to my clients and helping them make those smart choices so that they can, build amazing lives of significance and take care of the people they love, support the causes they care about, keep making that impact in the world.
I love that. Now I'm going to dig into that. I told you I kind of dive sometimes when I hear something good. You're right. As an owner, we wear all kinds of hats. I know I've got a whole rack at the back, but I realize that in order for me to be a successful owner, I've got to have one hat on more than the others. You chose advisor, right? Why do you prioritize the advisor part of it?
Mark, it's because that's where I can have the biggest impact for people. You see, I started life as a very ordinary advisor. I thought my job was to kind of manage investments well, and then met and fell in love with my wife, who happens to be a dentist. And through bringing our lives together, I realized she had a lot of concerns beyond her little investment portfolio. And I was not equipped at that time to really help her move the needle on her most important goals and the things that were stressing her out. And so I found myself in a job I hated, and I couldn't take care of the person I loved the most. And I knew something needed to change. And so that's where I really started to put that advisor hat on more and more, and started to study, what do the super rich do? What do the best do? How do they make progress on their most important financial goals? And that's why I said the advisor hat is, to me, that's where I can have impact. That's where I can help my clients have impact. That's where I can help you have the greatest difference in the world.
Nice, nice. And it's beautiful in that as a business owner, it's our responsibility to choose the most important aspects of our own business to focus on, right? So I can't spend time doing all the ancillary things and still be the best advisor I can be. If I'm hearing you properly, I need to make sure that I'm the best advisor I can be. And the other things I'll handle. It must be done, but I've got to figure out what I can do and what I need to delegate to others. Did I get that right?
You got it right. You got to figure out how you can become replaceable.
There you go. I like it. I like that term. So let me ask you, how long have you been in business?
Oh, I'm going on 22 years.
Woo! Okay, you got
Just a couple.
When did you start? When you were 6? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice, right? Yeah, it's amazing how time flies. I keep saying, when I'm talking to people, yeah, I've been in business for almost 20 years, and I go, my goodness, it was just like yesterday, it feels like, but time does move. Now, is that what makes you an expert in your field, or what makes you an expert in your field, in your opinion?
Well, so actually, I'm glad you held up becoming seriously wealthy, because that, to me, really helped clarify some of the research in that book in terms of what makes a true expert. And in that book, we helped underwrite a lot of research on different advisors. And one of the most interesting things to come out of this, and the reason of telling you this is to answer that question, what makes an expert? But what we found is, as we surveyed advisors, we asked them a real simple question. And we said, do you know about a lot of advanced planning strategies for your clients? And then we listed a whole bunch of them. And, some of them, 70% of put their hands up and say, oh yeah, we know all about that. Other strategies, 10% put their hand up. So you have some knowledge of these strategies, but just like you, we wanted to dive deeper and we asked an additional question. We said, well, we know 70% of you know about this strategy. How many of you have actually implemented this strategy for one client? Not 100 clients, just one client, right? Pretty low bar here. You know about the thing. Have you done it for one single client? All of a sudden that number drops to about 6.8%. And so to me, the way I would define expert is not just someone with the technical knowledge and expertise, but someone who's actually implementing these strategies too. And I'm going to take it one level even deeper. So now we're going 3 levels deep. Not only do you have to know about the strategies, not only do you have to know how to implement them and do the strategies, but to me, the highest level of expert is actually focused on the most important strategy of all, which is knowing your client. It's what I call the human element. That to me is really what makes the best experts out there, is they spend their time getting to know your goals, your objectives, what you're trying to achieve. And then using their expertise, they can bring in the right strategies and tactics to help you achieve those.
I like that. And it sounds like you have become an expert in your field, not just by the knowledge, but the implementation. And probably, if I'm not mistaken, you said almost over 20 years in the business. So
Correct.
time also helps you to grow that expertise, right? So now you sound like a man that some dental experts or dental practitioners would want to meet. And I forgot to ask you, but I'm going to ask you now. If they wanted to find Tim McNeely, how can we reach you? Do you have a website, phone number, yada, yada, yada?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Mark. So I'm on Facebook. You can find me, Tim McNeely, on Facebook. You can join the DentalPreneur Secrets Facebook group, where we reveal strategies of the super rich, and it's free. You can get in there, ask questions, interact. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn. You can give me a phone call, 818-730-2000. Real easy to find.
Nice, beautiful. So that's for all you dentists who are listening to the podcast. But I got a lot of other people who listen to my podcast. We're not just all dentists in here. So I just want to chat about the areas of business now, because when folks listen to us, they're trying to get inspiration for how they can run their own business, right? So let me ask you this question. How do you define success?
Oh, success. Isn't that always the question? What is success? Is it more money for you? Is it more influence for you? And to me, the way I define success is building an amazing life of significance. And to me, that amazing life of significance exists when you can do 3 things really, really well. You can take care of the people you love, and I said it before, you can take care of the causes you care about, and you can make that positive impact on the world. And so for me, success is about impact. It's about giving. It's about changing the course of other people's lives and helping them achieve even more than they ever thought possible. That's how I determine success, is did I make a difference for someone?
Nice. And I speak to a lot of different owners, business owners, and most people have a varying degree of success, but they often tie into how they can help others. So that impact statement is important. So then, obviously, sir, do you consider yourself successful?
Oh, I would say I'm highly successful. Absolutely.
All right. Beautiful. So now here's the question, because this is the key. How have you made success possible for yourself? Give us some tips.
Yeah, so success, right? And if we're defining it as having that impact, how do you make it possible? Well, you get out there and you do these things, right? We're talking about building inspiration, right? You may be listening to this and you may, right? We are in the midst of so much social, political, economic uncertainty. You may be just thinking to yourself, how do I move forward? How do I find inspiration? You know what? It starts by taking that first step. It starts by just doing things. And so often we lose that momentum, especially as the tide gets harder and the world gets tougher to operate in, right? We get caught up in fear. And so often just taking that first step, reaching out to someone and saying, how can I help? What can I do for you? What are you looking to achieve? And then just listening. And the more you focus on helping that person on the other side of the table, other side of the screen, the other side of that phone call, get what they want, the more you're going to get what you want.
Okay, nice. So take that first step, right? It's like that leap of faith. I had a barber who I interviewed a few months back. And, to me, whenever I think about barbershops, if a guy is successful, he opens up a barbershop and he has a few barbers working under him, or they pay him rent and they're successful. This guy had 7. I was like, what? 7? Well, what in the world? He said, I just take that step. I feel like, why can't I do it? And then I put it in action and I make it work. So I really like that. It's that whole, you can't learn to swim without getting in the water, right? And so at some point you got to jump in the water. And so I like that. Take that step.
Well, there's a great business coach out there, and he runs 2 different business coaching groups. And one is for businesses with under $500,000 of revenue, and the other group is people doing more than $500,000. It may be $1 million. My number may be a little off, but
Okay.
But someone asked me. They said, "What is the difference between your 2 groups? Why is one group so much more successful?" And the business coach said, "You know what? I'm teaching each group the exact same stuff." He says, "The content that I'm teaching you is exactly the same." He says, "Here's the difference." He says, "The people in my $500,000 and under group," he says, "I give them a strategy, a tactic, an idea." And he says, "You guys look at it, you debate it, you talk about it, you share why it's going to work, why it's not going to work." He says, "I give that same strategy, idea, tactic to my group doing over $500,000 of revenue." He says, "They just go do it." He says, he says, "You just do it." And that so often is the difference. It is you're so concerned about, how is this going to work for me? What do I do? How do I get started? Instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to start this and it's going to be messy. And it's okay to be messy. It's okay to make a mess. So sometimes you just got to get messy. You just got to get started. And as you do that, you'll build momentum. You'll learn what works and what doesn't work.
I love it. I love it. It's so interesting because I do advise business owners. I wish I were doing a bunch of them above the $1 million level, but I have a few. But you're right. My biggest clients, the ones who pay me the most money, I say, hey, let's do this. And they say, well, that's never been done before, but let's figure out how to do it. Let's come up with a solution. And those who make under 100,000, we say, hey, all you have to do is this. And they go, no, that's not going to work. Well, why not? It's just not going to work. Well, how about if we try it? It's a mindset. And so success is a mindset. If we can get over our own self-limiting doubts, our fears, we can move forward. So I like that. And like you said, it's just take that first step. So that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Like, they don't have the right mindset going in business. Clearly, you've gone beyond that. I've gone beyond that. I like to think so. I mean, we always have that self-limiting doubt. But let me ask you this, which is a little bit more tangible. What is one big mistake that you have made in your own business journey?
Only one. How much time we got, Mark?
Only one.
I gotta pick one.
Just
There are
one.
so many mistakes that I have made, and as I look back, you know what? I'm gonna stick on that theme of getting started. I was part of a conference the other day of elite wealth managers called Thrive, and it was absolutely fantastic. And as I was being interviewed on the panel, right, they asked that great question, right? If you knew what you knew today, what would you do differently? And so if I think about my biggest mistakes, it's not taking action soon enough. It really is waiting too long to do things. It's waiting too long before I pick up the darn phone and call that prospective clients. It's waiting too long before, resolving some kind of an issue that's been causing me anxiety. It's been waiting too long to fire that client that causes you, anxiety and heartburn. So it's waiting. And so I'm going to stick with that theme and say that has been my biggest mistake, is not acting soon enough.
Awesome. So now when I ask that question to people, I find that the successful people are ready to answer the following question. Those who aren't successful, they haven't gotten over that hump. So how can you avoid that mistake going forward? What have you planned to do so that you can avoid that mistake going forward?
Yeah, the thing that I do that has helped so much, and once again, we're all works in process. I'm getting better and better at it every day. But
Absolutely.
I've really adopted the habit of journaling, journaling in the
Mm,
mornings, and focusing on what are the big rocks that I want to get done today. Right? What matters? What do I have to move forward? What do I have to push forward? And this is something you can do today, right now. If you're listening to this, if you want to get started, if you want to be able to make progress even faster, start every morning, spend a couple minutes journaling, right? What are you grateful for? What matters to you? What does your future self look like? Where are you heading, right? Who do you look like 5 years in the future? And then what are the three things, just three, right? What are the three big rocks that you have to move today to make progress on those things? And that helps train your mind. It helps set up your day so that you're in control of the day and the day doesn't control you. And by just setting up those three things, it helps you take action. And sometimes you may, I know I certainly do, sometimes I have that top thing on my list and I have to write it down about 4 or 5 times before I do it. But the point is,
absolutely.
by keeping and maintaining focus, you get it done and it helps you take action on those things even quicker.
Beautiful. So I want to encapsulate that because I think that it's a heavy, heavy, heavy point that our listeners can appreciate. One of the biggest mistakes that we make, and I make it myself as a business owner, is to just go ahead and get started. We hesitate. Maybe the word is procrastinate. And one way we can overcome it is to just write down each day the most important tasks, just three maybe. So if you're ambitious, five. If you're not as ambitious, two. But write down those important tasks. Have them written before you, and then you can start to focus and reset your day. Did I get that right?
You got it spot on, Mark.
I love it because, that's one of the things that I learned as well in business. And it's so, we started our conversation with all the hats we have on our rack. Right? So what hat am I going to wear at this moment? And I can say, boy, this looks really hard. And this looks really hard. And this one's really easy. I'll do that one. But if I write down my list, I know at certain points I've got to cross it off that list. And I love writing on pen and paper. Computers are awesome, but pen and paper puts it in front of you and you have to pick up a pen and scratch it out. And that feeling of accomplishment at the end of the day, when you look at your list of three things and you have hopefully three scratch marks, you're good. And if you
Yeah.
only have one scratch mark, you say, man, tomorrow I'm going to be better. I love it. I love it. That's the one that I think I'm going to highlight and share with the world.
Not
Journaling.
just that, it's interesting. Neural research, Mark, it has shown that when you use pen and paper, when you're writing things down, it actually activates different parts of the brain than the
Mm-hmm.
computer activates. And you know what? I got really bad handwriting. There's a confession, right? Secrets of Tim McNeely. Some days I can't read my own handwriting, but I know what I'm writing. I write, and mentally I know what I'm spelling out. And that very act helps ingrains it and helps you push forward even more. So absolutely, if you want to help your business owners do even more, the act of journaling is so powerful.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. Let me ask you this question, and it's a nice one that a lot of people who are owners are searching for. What's the single most important quality you need to be a successful business owner?
Oh, more than anything, Mark, I'm going to say it's perseverance. You got to be tenacious. You got to be willing to keep going, because the business journey, the entrepreneurial journey, it's a journey of failure. It really is. And I share that to encourage you if you're listening to this, right? If you're a business owner, if you're a dentist, if you're an entrepreneur, and you just feel stuck and you feel like you're not getting that traction you want, you're probably actually on the right path, right? The
I like
entrepreneurial
that.
journey, it is one of struggle. It's hard. You got to be tenacious. You got to be willing to turn and try new things. You look at the tech world, right? One of the big things they talk about all the time in the tech world is, how are you going to pivot your business, right? Why do you have to pivot? Because the first one failed. You got to
Hmm.
pivot. You got to do something different. So as an entrepreneur, you got to be tenacious. You got to keep going. So I'm going to say it's tenacity and perseverance is one of the most fundamental traits that you're going to want to have as a business owner to be successful.
Love it. Love it. That's why so many business owners fail in the first year or the first 5 years because they're not persevering. If you push through, you can make it work. Now, Tim McNeely, you told me that you are a business advisor specifically to dentists. I, Mark Adams, am a business advisor to most small businesses, to many small businesses, but I also have my own business advisor. You mentioned that you're in groups of advisory. So how have coaches or mentors contributed to your success?
Oh, I love coaches and mentors. Coaches and mentors. Wow, it's think of the sports world, right? You think of your favorite team, your favorite athlete, whoever they may be. They
Jordan. Okay.
have Jordan, right? Yeah, did Jordan have a coach?
To the last shot, right? The
He
last
had a
shot.
coach, because you take world-class talent and you pair it with world-class coaches who can help refine what you're doing, who can help focus your energies, who can help focus your attention so that you're doing the important activities that matter. Business coaches can accelerate your success even more. So I'm currently working with two of them. I'm part of a mastermind group that I absolutely love. I've got another mastermind, right? So I'm part of two mastermind groups, and then I bring in coaches kind of on an as needed basis to help me work through projects. And it's not so much, sometimes there's that motivational aspect, but it's not always the motivation that the coaches provide. So, I've brought in coaches just to say, hey, help me think through my numbers and what do they mean? And I know that's something you do for people, Mark, and that's so important, right? The time that I sat down with one of my coaches and we spent, think about 4 hours doing this. We just worked through my books. We made sure all the categories were correct. We made sure I had actionable data so that I could actually open up my financials and say, oh, here's where my money's going, right? What a powerful exercise that was. And it helped organize this chaos around me. And like I said, I know that's something you do for the businesses you work with, right? That's the role of a coach, is to help you think about these things and say, hey, what are you doing in this part of your business, Tim? Or what are you doing about this part? And how's that part working? What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? So I cannot stress the role of a coach enough.
I agree. I love, I've had many coaches throughout my business life. When I started, I was like, I don't need a coach. A coach? You mean they're going to charge me money? I can ask around, but coaches accelerate growth. And you're right. The best of the best have coaches. And I'm talking about athletes have coaches, right? To the last shot, they have a coach there calling, helping them, guiding them. I mean, obviously you've got to do the work, but the coach, the mentor, the advisor, they're all important in order for you to reach your maximum potential. So I highly, agree with you when it comes to that. So let me ask you this question. If you're talking to a new business owner, Mr. Coach, what advice would you give them? They're just starting out their business. Now, I know you work with people who are more seasoned at this point in your career, but what advice would you give a brand new business owner?
I would tell them to get clarity above all else. And I kind of go back to, good old Simon Sinek, start with why, right? Very popular author, one of the most popular TED Talks out there. And his talk is called Start with Why. And if you can get really clear on what gets you up every single morning, why are you starting this business? What's behind it, right? Don't worry about the business model just yet. Don't worry about the product or whatever, right? Get clear on your why. And the clearer you can get on your why, that's going to help align everything else under what you're doing. And it's going to give you that ability to persevere through hard times. It's going to give you that clarity that you need to move forward. It's going to give you the tools and the strength and that vision so that you can build that amazing business. So I'm going to say it's got to be your clarity and really starting with why. That's the best place to start. And seasoned business owners too, go revisit your why. And a real simple way to kind of incorporate this. And this is an exercise I do, comes from a great consultant, Cameron Harold of the COO Alliance. And it's called a vivid vision. And a vivid vision is nothing more than you thinking about where are you going to be in 36 months, 3 years, 36 months. That's enough time that you can make something happen, but it's not so far in the future that it seems like it's never going to be here. But just simply start envisioning, what does your business, your life look like 3 years from now? What are your customers saying about you? What business lines are you in? What are you doing? And create that vision and then share it with people. Because the more you share it with people, you'll find people who align with your vision, who want to come alongside you and help you build that. And that's part of finding that why, is you can incorporate that through your vivid vision as you write that.
I love that. And it's interesting because you're hitting on points that, and probably most good advisors have the same kind of a concept, right? When I'm working with a business owner, and I tend to work with people who have a little bit more, and they're not just startups, they've been around for a little bit, but we revisit the why. That's the first thing. Get clarity on your why, because you know how it goes. You've been around long enough to see it, if not with yourself, but with other owners. You start your business with your vision in mind, and then you start running this business, and you're juggling these balls, you're wearing all these hats, and you forget why you start. You're just trying to stay afloat. So we all have to stop for a moment and revisit our why. I like that. And that 3-year, you called it the vivid vision. Did I get that right?
Yeah, vivid vision. Google it. I just completed my second one. And it's a real simple process, right? Like I said, just think about where you are 3 years from now. What do you want to see happen? Don't worry about how you're going to get there. You're not writing a business plan. You're not
That's
saying, well, I
right.
got to do this, this, and this. Just write out what you want. What does it look like, right? Build
Right.
that vision. Because as a leader, as an entrepreneur, your job is really to bring in the people who are going to figure out the why. It's to assemble that
Absolutely.
team who's going to make that happen. Your job is to be
Absolutely.
the visionary of what are you creating.
I love it. I love it. One of the things that we offer in my firm is we do monthly workshops. And that's one of the things we focus on, right? That 3-year vision that's going to help reset your direction, your path. So that's one of the key elements to being successful, because it keeps you focused on the road, right? It's like if you're driving and you start to daydream, you can go off in a ditch. But that 3-year vision keeps you focused on the path ahead. Here's another question I'm going to ask you, and it's kind of one of those just starting out. If you could go back to right before you started your own business, what advice would you give yourself?
Everything I'm telling you right now, man, it would be the same, right? I would get clear on my vision. I would really make sure I've nailed my purpose. I would work on wearing those hats I don't want to wear a whole lot less, right? Everything you and I have just talked about would be my advice to my past self. I'd say, do these things and get started right away. And the getting started thing is so funny, Mark, right? If you own a house, right, you may have a broken door or a broken faucet, or maybe your bathroom needs a new coat of paint, and you keep putting it off and you keep putting it off and you keep putting it off. But then one day comes and you go, you know what? We want to sell this house. I'm done. It's time to move. Well, you know what? Now you're going to spend all this money. You're going to fix that leaky faucet. You're going to fix the door. You're going to put the new coat of paint on it. And guess what? You never get to enjoy it ever. It's going to
Mm.
someone else. If you just did this work for someone else, but yet you lived with that broken door for 10 years instead of just fixing it and enjoying it, right? And so often, right, that's what we do in our lives, is we're going to get to these things later, and then you never do. Or you finally get to it and you fix your business when you're ready to sell it, instead of having a business that's going to bless your life instead of burden your life. So get started. That's what I would tell myself. That's what I would encourage all of you listening. Just get started. Whatever that action is that you need to do, and you know what it is. If you're hearing my voice, there's a nagging voice in your head that says, do that thing, do that thing. Just go do it. Just get started on whatever that nagging voice is telling you. You already know what those important things are. Just go do it.
I like that. I love it. You know what I got from that? You might notice my eyes dart back and forth and I'm moving. When I'm listening to people and they're dropping gems, I'm writing notes. So here's my note for that statement, that whole phrase. Fix the door, man. Fix the door. If you fix the door, you get to enjoy the door. I
Yeah.
like it. And that's a beautiful analogy. You're so right. We wait till the last minute to fix it right before we sell it, and we don't get to enjoy it. Fix the door. You'll
Mhm.
find that you'll have a happier time in that house, in
Yeah,
that business. I love it. So I got one bonus question. Are you ready?
I am
If you
ready.
don't mind. Okay. So every week we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have our weekly mastermind. And it's a little different than others because, well, I'm a little weird. But we just kind of pick a topic and then we vibe on it as a group. And so we throw out this topic or this statement or this quote, and then we talk about it. So I'm going to throw it at you and I want to get your thoughts on it. Last week's weekly mastermind, the quote was, the degree of your success depends on the quality of your relationships. What do you think about that quote?
You mean aside from I agree?
Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit more.
Like you want a little bit more. No, you
Just a little.
absolutely. And I'm joking because it's so true, right? That your success. And I think of a beautiful proverb that kind of is very similar to that. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And that's so true in life, in your business, in the journey that you're on. The quality of the relationships that you're going to build with your clients, your potential clients, your centers of influence, the people who work with you, your employees, your vendors. You want to work on creating good outcomes for everyone involved. And going back to the research, we did some other research called Billionaire Intelligence. And we looked at what are the patterns that most billionaires follow to create substantial wealth. And one of the things they do is they pay everyone involved, right? They make sure that if you're working with them, there's a benefit to working with them. And right, that goes to the quality of your relationships, right? The more you can communicate well with your vendors and your suppliers and form partnerships with them, right? Not just write them a check, but really work with them and leverage their expertise. The more you can build a good culture with your employees and virtual assistants and staff members, the further that's going to go. The deeper you build those relationships with your clients and potential clients, centers of influence, that's going to accelerate your success even more. So I agree.
I love it. And you saw my eyes darting. I know you saw them because they're really big. They dart all the time. I wrote down, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. That's a gem. Hey, Tim, I just got to tell you, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes with your time. We really appreciated it. You gave us a lot of gems that we can take to grow our business. So I just want to thank you, and we look forward to seeing your continued success on your business journey.
Absolutely. Now get out there and take action.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Okay. I think I stopped the pause. Let's see here. That was awesome. How you feel it went?
Oh, I feel good. That was fun, man. I love that stuff.
That was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Oh man. And you did drop some real gems. I know it's weird because I'm looking at myself and I'm like, I know my eyes, when I look at these videos again, I'm like, my eyes are all over, but I'm literally writing things down like, oh man, fix the door, man. Cause certain things just resonate. So I love it. And I know that people, they hear certain things and it pops for them. So you gave us a lot, man. I appreciate that.
Glad to serve.
Let me do my second recording, and this one's going to be brief. I'll just tell you, I always just start again with hello, hello, hello. We're with Tim, and just feel free to jump in because sometimes I've done it and people are like this. And one guy said, am I supposed to speak? And I was like, so don't worry about it. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to see. Okay. Oh, I might be recording right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
boy.
still